think it would never last this long, and now here we are looking like the entire month of April is going to have to be completely without services being held in the church building. So I hate being recorded. It's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like it, but I can't not do what I felt like I was called to do. So I'm doing this today, and I will do this right on along, keep going with it until we can all get back in here together. But the other apology is going to be, I thought at first, we've been doing the Sunday mornings. Sister Sheena has been doing Sunday mornings with the adult classes and been doing an awesome job with that. And part of that, the only reason why is of the two of us, she's by far the better teacher. So if only one class is being taught at this church, to me, if I have anything to say about it, she will be the one teaching it. But I was kind of it's just getting sent out to just our church members. We have our little group chat, and we have everything set up in there. And then just before we came over here to do this, I just wasn't thinking about it. She's told me that we have to record this through the YouTube app because there's not enough memory on the phones to do lengthy videos and stuff like that. And lining all that together, it suddenly hit me, wait a minute, a YouTube app, that means that once this gets posted, there's no telling who's going to watch this. So, for those of you that might be watching this, who knows where, this is Mount Vernon Pentecostal Church in Mount Vernon, Georgia. We're just doing what we can, but the apology to my wife would be, as red-faced and as embarrassed as she gets sometimes when I'm up here only preaching to 30, 40, 50 people at the most, I can only imagine what might go through her mind as watching this video, and it's going to go out to who knows how many people. But if you do it just like a church service. Take just a couple seconds while I'm running my mouth. If you don't have your Bible, go get it, and we'll get started here in just a second. But like I said, I didn't realize, as you're getting your Bibles, I didn't realize that this was naive, denial, whatever you want to call it. Maybe I think I was kind of not really focusing on it due to some other things I had going on, still do at the time, that kind of was focusing on them, and in my mind, coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever it is, kind of set it on the back burner in my mind and was like, well, we'll just be out for a couple of services and we'll be fine. Everything's going to be back to normal. Everything's going to be good. And then here we are today. But hopefully you have your Bible now. And the first thing I'm going to read is the very, very, very well-known story from Mark chapter 4. And in the mindset of everything that is going on in the entire world today, it's amazing how, for the first time probably in history, the entire world has something in common. Finally, it's got something in common. It's afraid. It's scared. It doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know how. Well, this isn't the first time we've faced things. Maybe it's a worldwide thing that anybody could think of. Yeah, that's a first. But there are times when we find ourselves in situations and problems in our life that we think, oh, this is it, this is how I go down. And I say a lot of these phrases like this a lot, but I feel like today it's really needing to be said again. But in Mark chapter 4, verse 35, says that in the same day when the even was come, he saith unto them, let us pass over unto the other side. Jesus said, that was in red, if you have a red letter edition Bible, let us pass over to the other side. Now I'm using a King James Version Bible. He said, let's go over there. And what I'm looking at tonight is always, like a lot of times, I've preached it a lot, and other people have too, putting your whole faith in God. That's something right now that could not be any more important than what we're doing right now. Putting your faith in God, not in any administration, not in the CDC, not into a doctor, not into a hospital, not into a group of people, any kind of way, but putting it in God, because God sees, we say all the time, God sees all. He knows everything. He's the reason why we're here. He's the reason. He created what we're here for. He not only put us on the path that we're walking in His life, He created the path itself. Well, when it's like this right here where there's a voice saying, He's telling them, let's cross over to the other side. And when they had sent away the multitude, they took Him even as He was in the ship, and there were also with Him other little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship so that it was now full. And He was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. And they awake Him, and say unto Him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? And He arose and rebuked the wind, and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. Or if you say it the way it's typed right there, peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And He said unto them, Why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith? And they feared exceedingly, and said one to another, What manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey Him? Now you and I know what manner of man this was, but still and yet He's the one that said, let's go to the other side. So why did fear strike them so hard that they had to run down to the bottom of the boat and wake Him up and ask Him the question, Carest thou not that we perish? Of course He cares. You're His children. Of course He cares that we're afraid right now. Of course He cares about what's going on in the day that we live in. We are His children, are we not? So yeah, He cares. But at the same time, He is also asking Himself, how is it that you could have no faith? How could you have no faith? I'm in the boat with you. I'm right here. He said just those 3 words, peace, be still. They knew His voice, they saw Him, they knew that it was right there and everything, He told them, let's go over the side. Now, we don't have the benefit of always being able to see Him, not physically seeing Him stand there in front of us, not being able to audibly hear His voice say, I need you to go here next or go over there next, I need you to do this or do that. We don't always get that. We have to pray and we have to fast and seek out God and really and truly just dig deep to figure out what our next move is supposed to be. And there's all kinds of things that can go through our minds when the devil begins to realize that there's a stirring in our spirit and there's going to be some kind of movement coming on. He begins to unleash his forces against us to come against to slow us down. Now, is this virus something that maybe God has sent, or is it something that maybe the devil has sent? Listen, we've been saying for a long time. I can remember year 2000 rolled around, right there at the end of 1999, and everybody was going crazy about Y2K. Everything was going to go to just everything was just going to go completely crazy. There wasn't going to be any computers were going to crash. Stock market was going to crash. Your dollars, money wasn't going to be worth a dime. Everybody had all this fear built up in anticipation, and it ended up being for absolutely nothing. I remember seeing new faces in the churches at that time. People didn't know what was happening, so they were turning to what they had always heard you turn to in a time of trouble. There's an issue there, but I'm going to keep going on that. All right, we'll fast forward just another year. September 11th, when the attacks happened, the churches filled up. People always said, oh, America got a wake-up call. The world got a wake-up call. Well, here lately, it's been said a few times. I remember, I think I may have even said it myself, was that another wake-up call was going to come. God was going to send another wake-up call. Here we are. The alarm clock is blaring. Here is our new and next wake-up call. Here is our one more chance. Here is an opportunity. Yeah, I know right now, everything's closed. And it seems kind of odd that it's worked out the way it did, but God doesn't always operate in ways that make sense to us. Well, why would God allow it? And sure, everything else, they said the casinos in Las Vegas were shut down. I don't know. I ain't been there to see it with my own two eyes, so I don't know. But I've heard they're shut down. A lot of your stores are shut down. So, barber shops, beauty salons, they're having all these things shut down. Bars, clubs, everything's closed. The church is not closed. It's not currently housing. We're not having services in the building, but the church is far from closed. Yeah, everybody began to try to find ways around it. People were having church services in the parking lot, people in their cars, and they were doing everything that they could, just trying to figure out a way to continue having their services. Why? Because as a leader position in a church, you really and truly right now, y'all, we don't know what to do with ourselves. Sunday rolls around, and I don't want to plug into that right now. Keep Sunday special. Don't let Sunday just become, well, hey, right now, this will just be another day on the weekend for me to sleep in. Keep Sunday something to it. Whether you know, hey, y'all, we're doing the I guess you want to say the virtual services. I don't know. We're doing these recordings and we're posting them for our church members to watch and hopefully get something out of. And I know it's not the same. I understand that. But still and yet, don't just let this go by, because we've got to keep ourselves built up. We can't get so hung up in the situation that we're in like these men were. They got so caught up in this storm. They'd already seen what had happened earlier in teachings that Jesus had taught and listening to him speak. And they knew that there was something going on there, but they didn't really just fully understand it, apparently, because the storm scared them. We don't have to let the storm scare us. The next scripture I'm going to go to is Psalms 46 and 10, and it's got one of the same phrases in it. You think of it. 46 and 10, the book of Psalms. Be still and know that I am God, and I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. God is going to be exalted. This is a wake-up call. Now, why would he punish the church? Listen, pay attention to what I'm trying to point out with that right there. The church is not stopped. The church is not closed. The church is still there. We have all the technology that we would need. You realize at one point in time, to be able to record and put anything on television like this, you would have to have a camera that costs several $1,000s. Who knows how much money you'd have to pay the channel on TV you were going to put it on. All the other technologies that come into editing and all these different things, and that's the editing. There's going to be no editing to this right here. This is just as raw could be when it gets posted here in just a little while. This is just going to be what it is. All of that would have needed to be taking place, but here I am talking to a phone propped up on a stepladder. And it's going to get posted and seen by, not pinning anything on me or pat myself on the back, but I hope a few thousand people watch this and get something out of it. It's not just going to be our church people. Once this goes on the internet and it is posted, I'm trying to be careful to not give names of anything, because I don't know how advertisement comes in. And me and Sister Sheena both, we're trying to be very, very careful to make sure that none of these videos get taken down because of copyright or anything like that. So that's why I'm kind of eluding on those things, but y'all will see what it's posted on because you're watching it. But he said, and know that I am God. He's God in everything. The song is saying for many years, he's God in the valley, he's God on the mountain, he's God in the day, he's God in the night. Be still and know that I am God, and I will be exalted among the heathen. I'll be exalted in the earth. God is trying to get the world to wake up and get their eyes back on him, to exalt him, which is what they were created to do. It's why we are on the face of this earth to begin with. But lo and behold, what did everybody turn their eyes to of all things? Toilet paper. God's still standing over there on the sidelines. I'm picturing in my mind like a football coach going, what in the world are y'all doing? That's not the play that I called. Who in the world has called this audible? I need to know who has done this. This is not what I said to do. We've got to fill out, no matter what's going on around us, no matter how bad it is, whether you might be laying in a hospital bed right now, you may have this virus listening to the sound of my voice. God is still in control of everything in the end, not just, I'm talking world, atmosphere, outer space, it don't matter, it's everywhere, it's God's. The little kitty song said, He's got the whole world in His hands. He knows what's going on. We can't get hung up. Turkey hunters has got a phrase about a turkey getting hung up. You may be calling all you can call, and he's of the turkey that you're after, he's across the way somewhere else. He's answering back, and you're getting all excited, and it seems like all of a sudden he just hits a brick wall. There's no way for him to come any closer. He can't come to you at all. It might be actual hens. It might be a thicket that's just too thick for him to come through. It might be a creek he just really don't want to fly over. It's just some kind of an obstacle that gets him hung up from coming on in. Guys, there is a God calling to this earth right now, but every world just keeps getting hung up on everything else, on things that it thinks are obstacles, but they're really not. When it's something that we make up our mind that we're really going to do, nothing is something that we're going to have, it's going to happen. You let nothing stop you from doing it, do you not? If it's something you like doing. Look at the people, the gatherings that are still going on. I know the beaches are back open again. Tybee Island, all of them are back open again. I don't know how many people might be going back. I hope they're empty. I hope people are taking this seriously and staying home. But I'm smart enough to know they're not. But now that's the voice of a man. That was something that, the governor and a mayor and different officials, they may say. But what I'm talking about is knowing a voice. And see, when you get familiar with God, it gets way easier for you to understand what He's telling you. When you get more familiar, they shall know my voice, and another they will not follow. My oldest daughter, she loves having her chores. She wants things to do. And one that I've given her here the last few months is it's her job to feed our dogs every day. She normally, while school was still going on, during the week, she fed them like clockwork. Before she went to school every morning, she fed the dogs. Done great. Weekends would get a little bumpy, but you could kind of see how it was her routine got threw off. She wasn't, well, I feed them before I go to school, but she's not going to school on the weekend, so it's not triggering. Well, now the school's not going out, it's kind of the same thing. It's not triggering, so she's got to get used to it. But because I know these dogs, from the moment I get home from work in the afternoon, because I'm essential personnel, when I open the door and get out of my truck, I can tell by the way they have a different whine. They have a different way that they act outside of their excited, I'm excited you're home. There's something different, and I know right then she didn't feed them today. I'll go inside and I'll ask her, have you fed the dogs today? And 99% of the time, if they have acted in that way, she looks up and says, no, I forgot. Well, come on, let's go outside and let's feed them. We go outside and we feed the dogs. Why do I know them that way? Because I'm familiar with them. I'm around the dogs all day long. I understand them. They got a different way of doing things. There's kind of a I'm hungry whine. There's a hey, tail wagging just a certain way. Hey, I'm hungry. Ain't nobody fed me today, buddy. Come help me out. And I go help them. I go feed them. We get them some food. We make sure their water's all everything like it needs to be. Because we got to take care of them. God is trying His very best to take care of the world. He's trying to take care of His people. But we get so hung up sometimes on so much else going on. So what I want to encourage you to do for this next week, don't sit in front of that TV with the news playing for hours upon end, hours upon hours upon hours. We say all the time, if I ever sat down and wrote down the things that God's done for me, it'd be a never-ending list. Try it. Make the list. When you get tired of writing, put it down, go do something. When you get the urge to turn to the news channel, start back on your list. Your anxiety level will drop. We know the stay-at-home stuff's in place. We know curfews for different places are in place. We know what's going on. You ain't got to keep watching the news. We've been told what date this is all going to go for. Why keep watching it? It's not going to change. Take a break from the news. Don't get hung up. Don't get so drowned out, because whether or not this is something God's using or whether it's something the devil's using, they're each going to use it all the time. We say that the God can take what the devil means to harm you, God can take it and make it for your good. Well, even when God's trying to make it, gives you something across your path to be for your betterment, the devil can step in and try his best to get you preoccupied to where you don't even notice what's going on around you. He gets us distracted. He gets our mind off of these things. He gets us focused on the storm and not the master. Keep your eyes on the master. And again, as I'm closing with this and wrapping up, I didn't think this was going to be very long at all. Looking forward, miss everybody. Things is just, when they finally die down and we can have services again, that's going to be an exciting time. And maybe we'll see some, one of the deals where you didn't know what you had till you had lost it. It's here we go. And if God allows something like this to come upon the earth, there is a reason. Whether it's just for prophecy to be fulfilled, read your Bible in the end times, whether it's that, or whether it's a wake-up call, or whether it's just let's see how many of my people truly love me, how many of my people won't let not being able to meet at the church stop them, seeing how can they use their imagination. I wish you could see how me and Sheena have this phone rigged up on this ladder, and I hope it's still recording, because I really don't want to do this again for today. But when we can come back into his house, maybe we can set the cell phone down for an hour and a half while the service is going on, because now we've seen what we've missed. Now we're saying, hey, this really means something, and I need to give God my attention. We give him our attention all week long, but we set these times of a church service aside to really focus in on giving him our undivided attention. I'm here for you, God. I'm here to exalt you. I'm here to just praise and worship your name. I can set everything outside, all my cares, all my worries, everything else I can leave outside in that car. And then when I get out of this service, I leave different than I came. And those problems that I left out there in the car and I left at home, they're not as big and bad as I thought they were when I left. So I hope this has someone got blessed. And if you were blessed in any kind of way, send us $777 to check. I'm kidding.